What's up, everybody? How you doing? It's JD Shabazz here again, for another topic on what is, and I want to talk about a topic, and something that you see sometimes with certain people. Sometimes when you talk to others and you ask them how they're doing, they'll say that, "Oh, I'm blessed," you know, and which that's a beautiful thing, for people to feel like they're blessed, but sometimes it makes me kind of feel sometimes just the way they say it, is that they feel like they're better than others, when they say this. And that's just my opinion. But everybody that lives and everybody that's on this earth, in my opinion, is blessed. And the reason why I say that is because when we all were born and we was admitted from your father's phallus into your mother's vaginal tract. And I'm not trying to be vulgar, but I'm trying to explain this process there, So when you as a little sperm was admitted into your mother's vaginal tract, you was admitted with 1 billion other sperm, and you had to swim upstream to get to your mother's womb and your mother's egg, so and you was the only one out of that billion that made it, so that right there is a blessing in itself. That's a huge blessing already before you was even born. So when you made it to your mother's egg, you had to go through triple darkness, and you had to swim and had to come out of your mother's womb, so you can take your first breaths. And that is a huge blessing just in itself, you know. And when you think about that, it should make you feel grateful, you know. So personally, for me, I never felt like I had to tell anybody that I was blessed, and I never even used these words, for myself. Just something personal for myself. I never, when somebody asked me how I was doing, I never said, I'm blessed. I never felt the notion to want to say that to anyone, just personally, because I always felt that I was grateful, and I didn't know the reasons why, but I always was humble enough to feel like that. Not trying to toot my own horn, but it's just stuff that I never thought. But I had a coworker, that I used to work with, and I mean, he was a good dude, man. But he used to, one day I seen him. It was on a Monday. And this is funny when I thought about it. This is what made me think about this whole story. But one Monday, he came in. And matter of fact, it was his Friday. I'm sorry, it was his Friday, and he came in, to a post, and was relieving me. But he came in late, and he had this little smirk on his face there, and he was happy, and I was kind of irritated because I was worked the whole shift, and he came in a little late, and he's smiling at me, and I asked him, how you doing, and he's like, oh man, bro, I'm blessed, and I laughed about it, and I looked at him. I'm like, oh man, that's cool, man. I'm glad you feel blessed, bro, And then I asked him, that's great, man. So why do you feel blessed? Like, tell me why you're blessed, And he had to think about why he was blessed, And he started to say, "Oh, I'm blessed because for my kids, that I'm having my kids there, and I get to see them." And I said, "Man, that's beautiful, bro. But not to be no disrespect, but that's something to be grateful for, Yes, you're blessed, but be grateful for that opportunity, And I was saying it because I was a little irritated with him, but then I was just hearing him, and what he was explaining, and like I said, and then I seen him again 2 days later when he came back on his Monday, you know, and he came and he relieved me again at this post, and he said, and he looked kind of sad, and he was, and he started to talk about, oh man, I hate this post, I hate this and this and that, I don't want to be here today, and I was kind of messing with him a little bit, and I didn't mean no disrespect, but I said, man, we blessed, bro. We should always feel blessed, you know. Always be blessed, no matter what the circumstances is, man. Just be happy that you were given this opportunity, to be able to breathe and have free will and live on this earth and be able to make choices for yourself and watch your kids grow. Like he was saying, he was just telling me that you were so thankful and so blessed to see your family and have your family. So you should always feel that, not just when you're happy, because sometimes it comes off when you say that you're blessed, that you're happy, and you should be happy. But there's a difference between being happy and feeling blessed, in my opinion. So for me, you should think about these things there, man. And when you think about these things, it should humble you, and it will humble you when you really, really think about this stuff. Because there was a billion others that did the same thing, and you was the only one who made it out of all those others there. And when you can think about that and really try to really think about this process for yourself, man, it's gonna definitely humble you, and you're gonna really feel grateful for every minute on this earth, every second that you are and you have to be healthy and to breathe and to think and to create all kind of opportunities for yourself and be able to live your dreams out. That's something to really be thankful for. So that's a blessing for me. So I want y'all to think about that, and have a good weekend, man. I love everybody, and y'all take care. All right.